So, who exactly were the Anunnaki? Is it possible they were powerful divine gods from ancient Mesopotamian myths? Or could they have been something else entirely? Maybe, just maybe, extraterrestrial visitors who came to Earth thousands of years ago. This is a question that puts ancient history head to head with a very modern and very popular theory. You've probably heard this one before, right? I mean, if you've ever spent an afternoon watching a show like Ancient Aliens, this idea is front and center. It's an absolutely captivating theory that has taken hold in popular culture, and it suggests our ancient past might be way more out of this world than we ever thought. So here's the core of the modern story. These beings from some distant planet came here with a mission, and that mission was surprisingly earthly. They were here to mine for gold. But to do that, they were going to need some help. Before we dive into all of that, though, let's hit the brakes and go back to the original sources. To really get a handle on the Anunnaki, we have to put all those modern theories on a shelf for a minute. We need to look at what the ancient Sumerians and Akkadians actually carved into their clay tablets, all those thousands of years ago. First things first, the name itself. According to the experts who actually read Sumerian, Anunnaki most likely means something like those of princely blood. Now, this is a really crucial point. It frames them as divine royalty, not as visitors who came from the sky, which is a common and, as it turns out, incorrect translation you often hear in ancient astronaut theories. And their jobs in the old myths? They were epic. These weren't miners or laborers. They were the top brass, the highest gods in the whole pantheon. They were said to live up in the heavens. They created absolute essentials for humanity, like grain and sheep, and they even served as judges in the afterlife. They were basically the divine architects and governors of the entire Mesopotamian universe. Okay, now let's jump forward a few thousand years to the interpretation that has become so famous. This is where the story takes a sharp turn, from mythology into what a lot of people claim is a hidden history of alien contact. This whole idea really exploded into the mainstream in the late 60s and 70s. It started with Eric von Daniken's book Chariots of the Gods, which kind of planted the seed of extraterrestrial influence in our past. Then, along came Zecharia Sitchin, who zoomed right in on the Anunnaki and built this entire detailed cosmic history around them. Sitchin's theory, when you boil it down, has three main parts. One, there's a hidden planet in our solar system called Nibiru, home to the Anunnaki. Two, they came to Earth almost 500,000 years ago to get their hands on our gold. And three, and this is the big one, when they got tired of doing the hard labor, they tinkered with our evolution and created modern humans to be their workforce. So we have two wildly different stories here, one from ancient clay tablets and one from modern paperbacks. So how do the claims of this modern theory actually stack up when you run them by historians, linguists, and, astronomers? Let's look at a key piece of so-called evidence. This ancient seal, VA-243, was presented as a depiction of our solar system with 12 planets. But here's the thing. Scholars who can actually read cuneiform and understand Sumerian art say, hold on a minute, that's not the sun in the middle, it's a star, and those dots around it are other stars. Oh, and the writing on it? It has absolutely nothing to do with planets or astronomy. And this table really lays out the bigger academic view. Critics consistently point to three major problems. First, the translations of the Sumerian texts just aren't supported by any standard dictionaries. Second, physicists say the proposed 3,600-year orbit for this planet Nibiru is basically impossible. It would be totally unstable. And third, there is just zero archaeological evidence of massive ancient gold mines or any kind of alien intervention. As historian Ronald Fritzie explains, it's not just about the conclusions, it's about the methods. The argument is that evidence was often cherry-picked, quoted out of context, and twisted to fit a specific narrative, while anything that didn't fit was just ignored. Okay, so if the academic world is so critical of the evidence, why are these theories still so incredibly popular? What is it about the idea of ancient astronauts that we find so compelling? I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? If the hard proof just isn't there, why do these stories grab hold of our imaginations and not let go? It's a question that goes way beyond just facts and figures. And the truth is, while the ancient astronaut theory feels very modern, it actually taps into a really, really old human instinct. This search for hidden knowledge, or gnosis, and this idea that some kind of non-human force has been meddling in our affairs. I mean, just look at the Gnostic texts. These are ancient writings they found back in 1945 in Egypt. In these texts, which the early church definitely did not approve of, they talk about these beings called archons, inorganic entities that supposedly live in our solar system and interfere with humanity. It's a strangely familiar idea, isn't it? An ancient echo of a modern theory. So maybe, at the end of the day, the appeal is actually pretty simple. Stories about ancient astronauts give our history a sense of cosmic significance. They make us feel like we're part of a story that's much bigger than just this one little planet, connecting our own origins to the great, vast mysteries of the universe. Which brings us right back to the beginning. How should we see the Anunnaki? Should we see them the way the Sumerians did, as powerful, divine beings that were part of their rich mythology? Or should we see them through a modern lens, as a really cool science fiction story that we've projected back onto the past? The answer, I think, really depends on which story you find more compelling. But that's just our breakdown. What's your take on all this? We'd love to hear what you think, so drop a comment below. And hey, if you enjoy unraveling these kinds of fascinating historical mysteries, make sure you subscribe for more.